Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chase and this is All Things Rome. Today we're talking about the top 5 tactical watches that are actually used in the field. Now, anybody can sit here and say, hey, here's the top 5 tactical watches on the market. However, are they really used in the field? Well, a lot of people know that my profession is law enforcement. I'm prior military, and yes, I have been in the desert deployed. So basically, this list is going to be what I see used in the field, both in law enforcement as well as in the military. Now, it's easy to say that, oh, the Brightly Navitimer is a great pilot's watch, but do pilots actually wear a Navitimer? Well, when it comes to boots on the ground, pilots are not boots on the ground. I did do a video in the past of the top 5 luxury watches for pilots. And the reason I did that is because I have a few friends who are pilots in the military, and they said, hey, Chase, what are good luxury watches? Because sometimes if your plane goes down behind enemy lines, hey, guess what? A watch can be currency. This is not it, right? This is not that type of video. In fact, this is what is the most durable, rugged watch that's gonna survive everything, because when your boots on the ground, guess what? You have a lot of shock, a lot of vibration, you're shooting guns, you're being slammed up against walls, it's being dropped on the ground. So what's number 1? Now, number 1 is in no surprise to a lot of people who are in tactical environments, and that's going to be the GShock, specifically the Mudmaster GG-B100. Now, this thing comes in at about $350, $380, and in no way is anything on this list over, I would say, $500. The last one is going to be a little underwhelming, and it's probably because most people have it on their wrist right now. But back to the GShock Mudmaster. Now, this thing sits a little large on the wrist at just over 55 millimeters in diameter. Now, it's not heavy and overbearing. It only weighs about 92 grams, and it offers a lot in its package. Now, the reason why it's so big is because people know that GShock are larger watches normally, but they're also more durable. Now, these things are basically indestructible. Unless you have it right in the center of a nuclear explosion, these things are basically gonna last through anything. It does only have mineral glass, but it's wrapped around such a hardened resin carbon fiber case that nothing's really gonna hit that mineral glass unless it's a direct impact from something else. And if it's sapphire, guess what? It's probably gonna shatter anyway. Now, this thing offers a lot of bang for buck. Like I said, under $400, just over $350. What are some of the things that comes on this watch? It offers 200 meters of water resistance, so basically it can be used in any everyday environment. Take it under the water, take it diving with you. It's not a dive watch, but you could if you wanted to. Now, this one specifically does have a compass. It does have an activity tracker. It does have Bluetooth connectivity to your phone, altimeter, alarm, date, stopwatch, world time. There's so many things that this thing has in it. It's basically a watch for every single thing you could ever need, especially with the compass function, perfect for land navigation. Now, if you want to go slightly smaller, because the Mudmaster, like I said, in no way is it a small watch at just under 56 millimeters in diameter. So if you want to go something smaller, let's look at the next GShock, surprisingly, which is the GShock DW5600BB. And specifically, we're talking about the classic in all black. Now, this thing is not going to set you back a lot of money, only about $100, and you can find them on Amazon anywhere. Now, this is the classic tactical style watch with that reversed LCD screen. So it's not a dark lettering on light, it's light lettering on dark. So honestly, I think it's pretty cool for what it is. Now, what are some of the functionalities on this watch? Well, it is a GShock, so it is rugged and durable, but it basically has everything the GShock Mudmaster has, minus the altimeter and the compass. Basically, everything else is the same. So very similar functionality at less than a third of the price. and it looks pretty cool, nice and stealthy, and it doesn't sit too high, and its dimensions are only 49 millimeters at the diameter. So it's actually pretty good when compared to the Mudmaster. This thing has 100 meters of water resistance, so it doesn't have 200 meters of water resistance, but 100 meters of water resistance is plenty for everyday life, to include swimming. So it's something you just don't have to worry about. Has a battery life of 2 years, and its accuracy is plus or minus 15 seconds a month. Now, next on the list is going to be something that I have seen the most in the military and in policing, and that's the Suunto Core in all black. Now, the Suunto Core comes in at about $220 to $230. So it is a little more expensive than the GShock, than the previous GShock at $100, but I see that GShock more than the Suunto, but I was surprised just how much I see this Suunto, to include a few personal friends of mine. And I considered for a long period of time getting one, but honestly, I would rather have something like the Garmin Descent Mark II, only because it's a dive computer and it's also a GPS watch for above surface. But this Suunto has basically everything the Mudmaster has, except for about $140 cheaper. So what does the Suunto Core in all black have? Well, it has an altimeter, a compass, a barometer, a timer, a storm alarm, a depth meter for snorkeling. Then it has multi-time functions and a date function and a calendar function. It's pretty hard not to like it for what it is. Now, the measurements of this are just under 50 millimeters in diameter, so it is slightly larger, but far smaller than the Mudmaster, and it only comes in at 62 grams, so it's extremely light on the wrist. The case material is composite, and it does only have a mineral crystal. The thing about all these is they either have a plexiglass or something like a Hesselite, or it has mineral crystal, because a lot of people aren't going to do sapphire when it comes to tactical style watches, because sapphire just shatters far too easily for impact. Now, fourth on the list is going to be the Timex Ironman, specifically the triathlon. Now, I was really surprised, again, in the military, how many people have Timex Ironmans. In fact, when I went through basic training, really the only thing you had that you could wear was a Timex Ironman. Now, this one is specifically the triathlon because I just see it so much more than just the standard Ironman, but I do see the Ironman as well. Now, these watches only come in about 50 bucks, and the Timex Ironman comes in about 35 bucks. So what does the triathlon offer? Well, the case width is smaller than the rest of these at 45 millimeters, so it sits on the wrist a little smaller. Offers 100 meters of water resistance. It has an alarm, a chronograph, stopwatch, date display, multiple time functions, and basically that's all you need for the tactical everyday watch. Now, is it cool to have a barometer, an altimeter, a depth sensor? Sure. But again, this thing is just under 50 bucks. So it's really hard to beat when it comes to that type of pricing. Now, last but not least, what is the fifth watch that I see on police officers' wrists? And this includes the military as well. Well, that's going to be, sadly to say, an Apple Watch. I have nothing more to say about the Apple Watch. I don't like the Apple Watch. I think they're ugly, but so many people have them, and I guess they're durable enough that everybody wears them. So out of all these, I see the Apple Watch the most. The Mudmaster, second. But these are by far the only watches that I see on police and military members. Period. Now, if you like videos like this, hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment on the content you guys would like to see. On this channel, I have a lot of videos coming up in the future, so make sure you guys are hitting that notification bell so you can be notified when I drop that next video. Until next time.